What's goody? It's your host, Jay Rose, as always, and welcome back to the BagTalk podcast. I haven't done one of these in a couple of weeks. We back though. I got a couple of topics I want to talk about. We just gonna get straight into it. Let's get into it right now. We're gonna start with tonight. Let's just start with tonight. We had Luka, who had 73 points, and on top of that, he had 10 rebounds and 7 assists. That is one of the craziest stat lines I've ever seen. Point blank period. He actually had I don't know if everybody knows what game score is. I personally don't really know how to explain game score, but you know, the higher the game score, obviously the better the game. And Luka Doncic just put up the second highest game score of all time, only behind Michael Jordan tonight. A couple spots back is Joel Embiid, who had 70. I think it was yesterday, bro. I think that was yesterday or 2 days ago. He had 70. Same night, Karl Anthony Towns had 62. Same night as Luka, Devin Booker had 62 as well. And Devin Booker's been going off. He had 62 tonight. He had 58 the other night. He had 49 the other night. Those three straight back-to-back nights, and Devin Booker hasn't had less than 49 points. That's insane. That's incredible. Absolutely incredible scoring outputs from these guys. We are really in a renaissance period for offense in the NBA, and it's apparent, bro. These guys cannot be stopped. And obviously, there's going to be points where you're going to look at these scoring performances and go, wow, the defense is really weak, but I really don't think that's the case, especially if you watched Luka tonight. A lot of those second half buckets were super tough, and it was just like, wow, this guy is a flamethrower right now. He's putting the ball in between two defenders, taking it up strong. And at this point, bro already got 60 plus points. So it's like, obviously he getting double, triple teamed. They putting their best defender on him. They're trying to contain him at this point to not let it get to the point where he has 73 points. And he's still scoring. He's going up on 2-3 people, splitting the double teams, going up strong, getting and ones, taking step backs with no room in between him and the defender. Buckets. And it's like, bro, how do you even guard that? I did not watch Devin Booker get 62 tonight because Luka's game was on at the same time, but I did take a peek at the Mavericks Suns game where he had 50 some points. I think it was 56, 58, something like that. He had a lot of points. I tuned into that for about, I want to say 8 minutes, because Devin Booker trashed the Mavs, and you know, I was tight, so I wasn't going to continue watching that. I was pissed because going into halftime, I missed halftime. I'm gonna admit it, I missed the whole first half. It was a good game up until halftime. I was playing Power World. That's me. I was definitely playing Power World. Hopped on at halftime, and it was tied. So I'm like, okay, this is a good game. D-Book's going off, Luka's going off. It's gonna be a good night. I go to the game, and Devin Booker pull up, contested mid-range splash. Devin Booker come down the court, another one, contested mid-range splash. Come down the court, contested three-pointer and one splash. And I'm like, yo, what the hell? Next thing I know, we down 15 points, and I turned it off. But that just goes to show how tough some of these bucket makers really are, because how do you stop that? I'm fouling you on a jump shot. Cash, what am I supposed to do? And when you watch Luka, there's points in time where he's taking these step-back shots, and they're just not falling. But when they start falling, which they do on a consistent basis, it's buckets. Like, you'll really just be in his face, and it's like, Cash. I have the same reaction every single time. That's my favorite player. I watch Mavs games almost every single time they're on. Bro, I have the same exact reaction when he hits that step back contested three-pointer. I'll be like, oh, because, bro, that's really disgusting. You have a whole hand in your face, somebody closing out, damn near fouling you, getting all up in your space, barely got space to land. Cash. And you know Luka is not moving dumb fast for it to be so like just money all the time. It's crazy. These scores are amazing. Especially when you're looking at Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid is a center. Joel Embiid is a whole big man, and in an age where I don't think there's too many big men doing stuff like that. I say that, but Karl Anthony Towns has 62. But you know what I'm saying? I feel like it took a while for the big man position to really get back to prominence, and we're back. We're definitely back. We've had JoJo and Jokic, obviously, for the past couple of years, really doing amazing things, and they're continuing to do amazing things. Joel Embiid's averaging like 36 points on the year, bro. And I think that's absolutely insane. He's really going on a tear. And I'm not gonna lie, a part of me doesn't really want to buy fully into it because I want to see him go into the playoffs and have a good playoff run. I feel like Joel Embiid going into the playoffs this season, especially if he ends up winning another MVP award, is going to be similar to like a Lamar Jackson and how important his playoff run is right now. Like, if Lamar Jackson loses to the Chiefs, it's gonna be hell on him. It really is. I don't think it's going to be a good look if Lamar loses to the Chiefs. Same way I don't think it's going to be a good look if Joel Embiid loses, period. I don't think that's going to be a good look. Bro's having another historic regular season. This is honestly, objectively speaking, this is one of the best regular seasons of all time. It's up there with Steph Curry 2016, LeBron 2013. It's up there. It's definitely up there. This is a crazy regular season he's having. He had was it Kareem streak or Wilt streak? I think it was Kareem with the 30-point, 10 rebound games in a row. He didn't break it, but I think he tied it. And the game where he was supposed to break it, he had a whole bunch of points and he only got like 9 rebounds or something like that. And I just find this crazy, bro. It's crazy. And I swear to God, if Joel Embiid does all this and goes into the playoffs and he chokes again, I'm going to lose it, bro. I'm going to lose it because I don't want to hate on Joel Embiid. I don't want to seem like a Joel Embiid hater. But there's no way I'm going to watch this whole regular season without a grain of salt. There's no way. I'm sorry. He can win the MVP. He can drop 40 points every single game until the season ends. And I promise you, I will not be looking at this season without a grain of salt. I promise you. Because Joel Embiid, he hasn't earned it. He has not earned the right for me to really look at him in that light. I just want to correct myself earlier. D-Book had 52 points against the Mavs. And then 2 days before that, he had 46. And then he had 62 tonight. So, yeah, there's that. A couple other good scoring performances. We had Jokic, who had 42 points and 12 rebounds against the Wizards a couple days ago. KD had 40 points and 9 rebounds against Indiana a couple days ago. So those are just some of the big scoring performances we've had recently. It's just been awesome, man. The league is in a really, really good spot offensively, watching all these guys do what they're doing. And I love it, bro. I love it. Now that we've spoken on that, I do want to speak on the All-Star game. I probably should have started with the All-Star game, but we could do that now. So the All-Stars on the Eastern Conference are Tyrese Halliburton, Damian Lillard, Joel Embiid, Jason Tatum, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. On the Western Conference, very predictable. We had Shea, Luka, Bron, KD, and Jokic. The Western Conference was completely predictable. I think the Eastern front court was very predictable, but where I have a problem is in the backcourt, and I think most people have a problem with the backcourt. I'm just going to go out and say it. Damian Lillard does not deserve to be a starter this season. As somebody who I think is most likely going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer in Damian Lillard, it's kind of crazy that he's never had an all-star start up until this season, and he still doesn't deserve it this season. To be fair, throughout his best years in Portland, he had to go up against Steph Curry. He had to go up against James Harden. He had to go up against Russell Westbrook. So it was going to be virtually impossible for him to get an all-star start when that's the competition you're going up against. The guard position has been stacked throughout most of the 2010s. I want to say from like 2014 to now, the guard positions have been stacked. So for you to get that starting spot, you really got to deserve it. I'm happy for Dame that he finally got one, but he really doesn't deserve it this year, if I'm being completely honest. Especially the way Jalen Brunson has been just hooping, man. Jalen Brunson has been absolutely hooping. The Knicks have been winning a ton of games. They're 13-2 in their last 15. Jalen Brunson's averaging like 26, 6-6, something like that. He is going off. He's had 30-point performances left and right. He's been absolutely carrying the Knicks right now. Super efficient. Super fun watch. I've been watching a lot of Knicks games too. Jalen Brunson's footwork is amazing. Loved watching Jalen Brunson play. I really did. I loved him. I loved watching him play back when he was a Maverick and he wasn't even doing all this. He was doing it, but not to this extent. Bro's really putting up 25 plus every single night. He's really the leader of that team. He's the number one option on that team. I'm not saying he's a superstar or anything. Not yet. At least not yet. I don't think. But yeah, the season he's having is definitely better than Damian Lillard's season. Not to say Dame is playing bad. Dame's not playing bad. But Dame's not playing amazing either. He's definitely had a lot of games where I feel like he played shitty. And he ended up with a pretty decent stat line. And then there's also games where he played shitty and his stat line reflected that as well. Honestly, I think Trae Young should have made it over Dame. I think Jalen Brunson should have made it over Dame. I think Donovan Mitchell should have made it over Dame. I think Tyrese Maxey should have made it over Dame. I just don't really think there's a scenario where Damian Lillard makes the all-star starter spot this season. And I hope somebody doesn't get snubbed off this list like completely, because there's a lot of nice guards that deserve their all-star spots this season, but I don't think Dame should have been a starter. And that also brings me to Tyrese Halliburton. And I'm going to pause here because I need y'all to all understand. I love Tyrese Halliburton, bro. I rocks with Tyrese Halliburton, bro. I've been telling y'all this from the off season. I've been like Reese from before, and I'm just saying, bro, I don't think he deserves it. I feel like Tyrese is having a breakout season like I predicted he would have, and people are definitely jumping to conclusions really, really fast about him, putting him into conversations that I don't really think he belongs in just yet. We can't call Tyrese a superstar just yet. Not yet. Like, I feel like we be throwing the superstar mantra on people too fast. I don't think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander should be called a superstar yet. I don't think Reese should be called a superstar yet. Guys like that, I feel like you should really have to have sustained excellence over a period of time to really be called a superstar. Reese played well last season. He's playing excellent this season, but I don't think he deserves the start. And a lot of people are going to disagree with me. A lot of people disagreed with me when I made a video dedicated to this player. Trae Young deserves an all-star start this season. I'm not entirely sure how Trae Young can continue to put up the numbers that he puts up year after year and continue to get disrespected like this. Like, it's kind of crazy to me. He's putting up 27 and 10. I'm just saying he's putting up 30 ball after 30 ball after 30 ball if you're watching him. The percentages aren't the greatest right now, but they're pretty freaking good, bro. 36% from 3, 42% from the field. He's a small guard. But you know what I'm saying? Trae Young has been hooping, putting on a show this season again. And I feel like he deserves that spot. I definitely do. I feel like it's close. I feel like it's debatable. I'm not mad that Reese got the spot, but I'm just saying the Trae disrespect is very, very crazy to me. He's never going to get a starting spot again. I think he got one. And Trae is just not popular enough. I don't think people like Trae Young enough for him to get another starting spot probably ever again in his career, unless he turns into like a juggernaut of a player and goes on and wins a couple championships or some MVPs or something like that. But I just can't see it if things stay the way they are and he's like he's a superstar level player, a superstar level talent. But unless something changes with his circumstance where he starts winning more or getting awards or doing this or doing that, there's absolutely no way he's going to ever get a starting spot in an all-star game again. He gets snubbed for stuff like this all the time. He constantly gets disrespected. Listen, I'm not mad that Reese made it, though, just to make that clear. Not mad that Reese made it. I feel like he definitely deserves that spot as well, but it's definitely up for debate. And at the very least, Trae should have got in over Dame, 100%. Now, on the bench, like I said, Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Maxey, Donovan Mitchell, Trae Young, those are all guards. Those are all guards. You could throw Jaylen Brown in there, all guards. Somebody's not going to make the list. All I'm saying is it better not be Jalen Brunson. It better not be Trae Young, and it better not be Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey absolutely deserves an all-star spot this year. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's the second half to the highest scoring duo in the NBA right now. He's averaging 26 points. I didn't expect him to do this. You didn't expect him to do this. James Harden left, and bro just completely took the reins of being the second best player on the team, and he's thriving in that role, bro. Night after night, I'm just looking at his stat line. I'm looking at the Sixers play. I'm looking at the standings, because nobody expected the Sixers to even look this good without James Harden, and they look better without James Harden, and I think that's crazy, bro. I think that's absolutely crazy. If you look at the standings right now, Philly is 29 and 14. They've only lost 14 games. They're the third seed right now, 5 games back from the first seed. Joel Embiid's missed a couple of games here and there. And Maxey's been there. And Maxey's been scoring. Maxey's been facilitating. Maxey's really been the point guard on that team. He's been hooping. Absolutely. He absolutely deserves an all-star spot this year. And I argue he probably deserves an all-NBA spot this year, so far at the very least. I might make a video on that. Who would get an all NBA spot if the season ended today? But I'm just saying, Tyrese Maxey is one of those guys who I feel like who's been very far under the radar, because he hasn't really been on that radar to become a real star player. But now that he's up here, I feel like he's a shoo-in for most improved player. Like, there's no shot anybody wins that over him, right? I feel like you could argue Reese, but I feel like a lot of people expected Reese to take this jump. Nobody thought Maxey was going to take this super big jump that he took this season. So kudos to Tyrese Maxey. He absolutely deserves his flowers in an all-star spot, in an all-NBA spot, in my opinion. And I hope he gets it. I definitely hope he gets it. Yeah, this is one of the situations where there's an all-star snub, and I actually have some people who I think could replace the guy who made the all-star starters list. Not that it matters too much, because if we're being honest, when you look at the stat sheet, it's gonna say, just throwing out some numbers, it's gonna say it's not gonna say 7 all-star starts and 3 all-stars off the bench. It's gonna say 10 all-star appearances total. So when it's all said and done, I'm not even really gonna remember who started and who didn't for the most part. I probably will for certain players. Like, I'm gonna just assume Trae Young's gonna come off the bench on the All-Star game for the rest of his career, more or less. But you know what I'm saying? For the most part, I'm not really looking at all that. Like, who's gonna go back into the record books and be like, I want to see how many times this guy started in the All-Star game? Like, I don't care. If you made the All-Star game, you're an All-Star that season. That's all that really counts, right? We're gonna hope that everybody who deserves it gets in, and that's that. I also want to talk about some roster moves that happened recently. Obviously, made a video about Pascal Siakam going to the Pacers, and they picked up a couple of decent wins here. Actually, they beat up on, I want to say the Sixers. I believe it was the Sixers that they just beat by. I think it might have been a close game. I'm gonna check right now. They beat them by 12. They beat the Sixers by 12. That's a huge win. And Halliburton didn't play. Pascal had 31 points, I believe. Today, they just beat the Phoenix Suns. And like I said, Devin Booker had 62. So D-Book had 62, and the Pacers won. They started off, it wasn't too hot. It was not too hot. They couldn't win a game. I think they went 0-3 in their first 3, but now they've got 2 really good wins in a row. So there's the Pacers. Tyrese also hasn't really played much. He's been hurt. He got hurt a couple weeks ago, and he's been in and out of the lineup. I think he played like 2 games since then. They definitely have him on a little restriction as of right now. So hopefully we can see Pascal and Reese on the court together soon. But that's just not the case right now, and that's fine. That's cool. But they look like they're going to be pretty decent once they start getting the ball rolling. We also have the Knicks and the Raptors. The Raptors obviously got RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickly. The Raptors been winning games here and there. I feel like RJ, Scotty, and Quick are having a little bit of trouble meshing together, but they're definitely, yeah. RJ and Quickly have been doing their thing on the Raptors. I feel like that was definitely beneficial for both of them growing as players. RJ being allowed to have the ball in his hand more, because if we're being honest on New York, if your name ain't Jalen Brunson or Julius Randle, you're probably not touching the ball too much. You're going to have to get in where you fit in. But on the Raptors, they make it a focal point to get RJ the ball. And he's definitely been taking his opportunity and running with it. He's had a lot of decent scoring performances, getting over 20 points consistently. He had a really nice game. I think he had like 35 the other night. Super good scoring from RJ. He's playing some really decent defense as well. Quickly, he'll go off one night, and then the other night he'll have like 10. I think he's still adjusting to being in a starting role, being in a prominent role with the ball in his hand a lot. So he's going to have to get used to that, obviously. But he's looked good himself, so we like to see that. Like I said, they're struggling to mesh really with Scotty Barnes. I think Scotty Barnes is having to adjust to have other people having the rock in their hand too. He's also now a consistent starter. He's also playing at a higher level this season as well, so he's going to have to adjust to having 2 more ball handlers on the team who weren't currently there. So obviously that's going to be a little adjustment process. But you know who doesn't have an adjustment process? The Knicks. The Knicks are 13-2 with OG Anunoby. That's crazy. That's crazy. And I'm just saying, like, and I still stand by what I said though. I still stand by what I said. The Knicks overpaid for OG Anunoby. Absolutely. Did it make their team better? Yes. And I never denied that it would. I never said their team wasn't going to be good. I never said OG Anunoby wasn't good. All I said was you could have gotten a better player for what you gave up. But shit, who cares? It's working out, right? It's definitely working out. Like I said, RJ and Quick been doing their thing. OG's been cool. OG is a role player. He's going to come in and he's going to get anywhere from 10 to like 17 points. He's going to play some good defense. He's going to hustle, do the dirty work. And that's really what you're asking of him for the most part, right? You're not asking OG Anunoby to come in and drop 30. Even though he did drop 30 tonight. Like literally tonight as we speak, I looked at the stat sheet before. He actually did drop 30. He had a great game. But that's not what you're looking for from OG. I'm not expecting OG to really do stuff like that too often. But he's fitting in like a glove. Like I said, a lot of it, honestly, is Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle. I don't want to sit here and give OG Anunoby all the credit for that. Like I said, he's coming in, he's playing his role, and he's doing it well. But Jesus Christ, Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle have been going off recently. Like I said earlier, they have been hooping. They've been hooping. Julius Randle probably deserves an all-star spot as well, to be honest. He started off the season real slow, but he's picked it up, and he's been having some really decent performances. So shout out the Knicks. Shout out Julius Randle. Shout out JB. Shout out OG Anunoby. You know what I'm saying? That everybody on the Knicks organization hooping right now. They're having a really, really good stretch. Was there anything else I wanted to talk about? Oh, the Milwaukee Bucks fired their head coach. And this was kind of... It was a head scratcher to me, only because at the time, I think they've only had lost 9 games on the season. So looking at a coach and going, you're fired when we're the 2nd seed in the East and we're like 32-9 or something like that, close to that record. I'm not sure what the actual number is. Something like that. Maybe it was 12 losses. It was around that ballpark. But for you to be the 2nd seed in the East and to fire your coach is peculiar, no? Regardless of how good or bad the coach is, if your team is good, I'd assume you would at least make it out this season. But damn, bro. Giannis's PR team is also amazing because right after the coach got fired, it came out that Giannis said he respects him and he likes the coach. Me personally, I don't believe any of that. I think that's bullshit because there's absolutely no way your coach got fired mid-season and you didn't have anything to do with it. There's no shot. Do I agree with the firing? Yes. The Bucks defensive scheme is complete dog shit. They can't guard a brick wall. They can't guard a cone. They can't guard a chair. Bro, I had surgery a couple months ago and they can't guard me. It's really bad. Like, they really let people walk up in there and just drop however many points they want. Like, the Bucks consistently have to outscore the other team for them to win. And with Giannis on your team, who's a defensive player of the year, with Brook Lopez on your team, who's a defensive player of the year candidate every year, I think it's kind of crazy that you have 2 anchors and can't play defense. That has a lot to do with Damian Lillard being literally a traffic cone. And they start Malik Beasley, who's also a traffic cone. So, for example, if you play a guy like Luka, he is going to give you 40. The Mavericks got Luka and Kyrie, so that's 2 40s right there. That's 2 40s. You go play the Chicago Bulls. The Chicago Bulls have been giving them hell this season. Kobe White gave them 40. DeMar DeRozan going to give you a 30-piece. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, when the guards come in, it's free chicken. On my fantasy app, you got to pick which teams you're playing against on the fantasy app. If I see the Bucks for a guard, I'm picking them every time. Just like how the Pacers' pace is super high. Top offense in the league, probably worst defense in the league. If you're playing the Pacers, I'm picking you. Word. So, I do agree with the firing because last season, their defense was top-notch. But you also have to take into account that they had Jrue Holiday. So that's 3 anchors that you had on. You had 3 defensive anchors last year. You got rid of 1. Now your guard spots is free breach on defense. And you kind of have to pick up the pieces somehow. I want to see what happens going forward. I don't really have many thoughts about Doc Rivers coming here because I don't think Doc Rivers is a good coach either. Not to fire your head coach in the middle of the season and replace him for, I really don't think that's a great move. But we'll see what happens. I feel like you can't really do much worse because the Bucks offense looked like they were kind of just trying to figure it out. I saw Giannis drawing up a play one time, and the day after that, Adrian Griffin got fired. So Doc, you can't do much worse, bro. I really don't think you could do much worse. The pressure is definitely on though. Don't blow a 3-1 lead. If y'all blow a 3-1 lead, you have officially ruined Doc Rivers' career forever, because that would be like what, the 5th 3-1 lead he's blown in his career. So chill on my man Doc, give him a break. If y'all lose, try to go out strong. You know what I'm saying? Try to have a decent series where y'all don't completely choke away a lead. Something like that. Play some defense. Like, serious. Like, I don't even think changing the coach really is gonna change the issue at hand, because I feel like that's more of a personnel issue. What are you gonna do to hide two terrible defenders? Your point and shooting guard don't play defense, so you can only hide one, really. And usually how that works is what the Warriors used to do when Steph's defense wasn't the greatest, but he's gotten a lot better too. They had Klay guard the best defender, and they could hide Steph on the shooting guard, who was usually going to just be standing in the corner or doing off-ball movements, not too much on-ball stuff. When both of your lead guards can't play defense, you can't do that. So I'm not sure what the defensive scheme would even be to fix that issue. Are you going to play zone? We'll see. I guess I'm not sure what you could do to fix that for the Bucks, but honestly, as it stands, they're not winning a championship. There's absolutely no way you can win a championship when your defense is that piss poor. Sorry, I'm just keeping it a bean, bruh. I'm just keeping it a buck, no Giannis. You're not winning a chip if you can't play defense. For you to be a contender, you're gonna have to have a top 5 offense and a top 5 defense, and they probably have one of the worst defenses in the league. So I'm not too keen on seeing them go that far, because it just doesn't look like they're gonna end up having a defense that's very high. It doesn't look like that's a likely outcome for the Milwaukee Bucks, unfortunately. I saw the other day that DeAndre Ayton said he is a max player. I just wanted to bring that up because LOL, like, what's wrong with that guy? Like, seriously, what's wrong with DeAndre Ayton? The hell is he talking about? Stupid as hell. Like, what? Max player? He's trash. I just had to bring that up. I just had to. I want to talk about the last thing I want to talk about is the standings for the Western Conference. We can touch on the East too, but for the West, I just think this is crazy. I said the standings were going to be tight again, and they are absolutely airtight again. So from 8 to 1 is 7 games. Now, from 5 to 8 is 1 game. So that means if the 5th seed loses 1 game and the 8th seed wins 1 game, they're literally changing places. They're going to have the same record. I think that's kind of crazy. The Mavs are 8th. I don't want to talk about it. The New Orleans Pelicans are 7th. The Phoenix Suns are 6th. The Kings are 5. The Nuggets are 4. The Clippers are 3. The Timberwolves are 2. And the Thunder are 1. I want to highlight the Golden State Warriors, who are 19 and 23 as of this recording. And the Lakers are 500 at 23 and 23, which is good for the 9th seed. Honestly, I want to go back because I know I did a tier list before the season started of who I thought was going to be the best teams in the league. And I want to go review that because I know it's dead wrong. I know everything about that tier list is absolutely wrong. This has been one of the weirdest and most unpredictable seasons for the Western Conference. How the hell did the Timberwolves just magically get this good? How the hell did the Thunder go from barely making the play-in game to literally being on top of the Western Conference? I'm not getting it. I'm absolutely not getting it. This is crazy, bro. And the Clippers, who sucked to start off the year, now the 3rd seed. I'm glad they finally got some momentum, though. I definitely want to see the Clippers do well in a playoff series. I thought the Suns were going to be a lot better. They're 26 and 19, which isn't bad, but I thought they were going to be better. I thought the Lakers were going to be one of the best teams in the league, and they're 500 for the 9th seed. I'm not even going to talk about the Warriors because holy hell, 19 and 23. The Memphis Grizzlies, who obviously have been bad without Ja, he came back. They looked a lot better with him on the court. Then he gets hurt and he's out for the year. So 18 and 27 for them. The Warriors are only 1 seed above that. Terrible work from GS. Absolutely terrible work. The Western Conference, I mean, the Eastern Conference is also close, but not as close. 12 games from 8-1, so that's a whole 5-game difference. It's not as close as the West. The Magic are the 8th seed. The Heat are the 7th seed. We got the Pacers at 6, New York at 5, Cleveland at 4, Philly at 3, Milwaukee at 2, Boston at 1. And I just want to say this is going to be my last remark before I call it a pod. The Boston Celtics are stacked. Every Celtic game that I watch, I look at them and I go, yo, bro, y'all better not lose, bro. Because there's no way. If y'all are healthy, there's no way. Drew Holiday has his games where he goes off. Jason Tatum has his games. Obviously, he's a star player. He doesn't have his games. He's consistent. He comes in, he hoops. Jaylen Brown comes in, he hoops. Kristaps comes in and he hoops. Derek White comes in and has his games. Then Al Horford want to randomly come up and just splash down threes all the time. And I'm like, yo, bro, y'all have everything. No way y'all lose. Oh, this is the real last thought. Somebody tell Reggie Miller to shut the hell up, bro. Talking about Derek White should be an all-star. You dead ass? And remember how I was talking about how there's so many guards that deserve all-star spots? I'll be damned if one of them don't make it because Derek White get an all-star spot. Whatever happened to being a good role player? He's a good role player. He don't gotta be an all-star, bro. Not everybody an all-star. Derek White? Are you serious? No disrespect to Derek White. Like I said, he's hooping. He is a great role player. I would love to have Derek White on my team. But all-star? That's all I got, bro. I'm gonna catch y'all in the next one. I hope you enjoyed the pod, man. I had a lot of fun rambling. I hope you guys had a lot of fun listening to me ramble. Whether you agreed, disagreed, you know what I'm saying? Leave your thoughts in the comments. I'll catch y'all in the next one, bro.